Hello, hello. Look, this one is this one is for the young men out there. So that is directly who this video is. That's the intended audience for this video. So I'm just saying that right off the bat. Um, you know, if you're not in that group, this one is going to be geared towards their particular issues facing the problems that they face, the uh, mental shortcuts that they take sometimes, um, the problems they have with their ego, right? So just keep that in mind. That's what this is for. Um, the thing that I have been trying to grapple with lately is why do you keep allowing yourself to get fooled over and over and over again? And you know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't think any of you are stupid. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, I'm not a particularly religious person, but there's a passage in the Bible that says it's easier for the camel to pass through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. Um, and the reason for that is simple. I think it's one of the best passages in the Bible, and I think it is uh, extremely uh, extremely telling. And we can conceive of it in any number of ways, right? As a materialist and an atheist, I think of salvation and damnation in a very different way than perhaps um, a Christian does. But ironically, I think we're on the same page about this, um, because what is damnation really? To me, damnation is when you are alienated and isolated from the rest of your community. And ultimately, that's what wealth does to a person. Wealth separates a person from the rest of society. When you are wealthy, you are alienated from everybody else. And it makes you weird and sad and petty, oftentimes. Um, and it makes you ignorant, um, because you can't possibly understand what people struggle with on a day-to-day basis. As a wealthy individual, you couldn't even understand it if you tried. Um, when someone like Trump, a billionaire, claims to understand your struggles, he is lying to you. He doesn't live in your world, and he doesn't want to. Critical thinking is not about intellectual posturing. It's not about using big words or trying to show people that you're intelligent. Critical thinking is about survival. And you need to start thinking about who actually has your back. Because I guarantee you, when things get difficult, and they will, people like Trump are not going to have your back. Critical thinking is about survival in a landscape where the wealthiest among us will happily exploit your loyalty. You need to ask yourself why a billionaire would pretend to be a champion of the common man. It's not It's not because he cares. It's because he needs you. He needs you to trust him. He needs you to go online and defend him. And he needs you to turn your anger away from him. That's his strategy. A billionaire's interests are fundamentally opposed to yours. Trump doesn't live with your same constraints or your anxieties or your dependencies. He doesn't need you personally, but he needs your anger, your support, and he needs your belief in this myth that he's constructed. Um, Trump's pitch is that he is one of us, but his entire life has been spent in a world of luxury and insulation. Do you think he spends even a moment worrying about your rent or your medical bills or whether you can afford groceries? He doesn't. It's absurd to even suggest. His wealth means he's fundamentally removed from every concern that defines your daily life. And yet, he's presented himself as a champion of the common man, and this is not an accident. It is a constructed image. Wealth is mistaken for competence, or wealth is mistaken for competence, and cruelty is celebrated as strength. But it's political theater. It's all a game designed to keep you loyal, while the ruling class remains untouched. And this is an important thing to point out. The people who have bought into this idea that Trump is some kind of anti establishment figure need to come to terms with the fact that he just appointed Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. Little Marco, that's right. So you need to ask yourself why he would appoint a mealy mouthed neoconservative shill in his administration. Do you think that represents some kind of shift from the status quo? I don't. And I don't think you do either. I don't think you're that dumb. You need to start using your head. Wealth does not make a person inherently better. It makes them distant, cold, and ultimately detached from any genuine human understanding of struggle. Wealth alienates the rich from the rest of society. When a billionaire promises salvation, it is hollow. Their version of salvation is built on their own self interest. Real salvation doesn't come from people who have never had to sacrifice a goddamn fucking thing in their life. Um, I've had a lot of time to think in the past year. I have had three surgeries. Um, the first one was done basically in a scenario where if I did not get that surgery, I was going to die. So I know what it's like to be vulnerable. Um, and I understand what it feels like to have to rely on other people and to be completely at the mercy of circumstances outside of your control. And let me tell you, I have been in a scenario where I have experienced more pain than I think, uh, I, to the point where there were moments where I experienced ego death. It completely obliterated any sense of self. That's how much pain I was in. Um, and pain like that changes you as a person. Um, and it can change you for the better or it can change you for the worse. and I am trying to be better. Um, and an experience like that strips away a lot of illusions and a lot of petty concerns about life, and it reveals what actually matters, and that's people who show up and people who care, not people who hoard wealth and power, and not people who would not cross the street to help you. Um, you know, they want you to be angry and they want you to be bitter and they want to convince you that the enemy is someone who is in reality just as disenfranchised as you are. They point the finger at immigrants, minorities, the poor, trans people, and they want you to believe these people are the reason you're struggling. Are you really that fucking stupid? I want you to use your head. Start using your head. This is not an accident. This tactic has been used time and time again. It is designed to keep you fighting everyone but the people who actually benefit from your exploitation. And this is the Faustian bargain they're offering. If you have supported Trump, you made a deal with the devil. And we know that a deal with the devil, uh, it might seem to benefit you, but there is there's going to be a twist. This is the bargain they're offering. It's you give them your loyalty and your support and your anger, and they'll give you somebody to blame. They'll give you scapegoats, enemies, distractions. And while you're focused on the wrong things, the billionaires, the real architects of all of the problems that define your daily life, these people are, they continue to amass wealth and consolidate power, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. And I know some of you are probably wondering why I am saying all of this. I'm a horror YouTuber. It's weird, right? I know most of you come here for something else. And every time I make a video like this, I lose subscribers. Um, but I don't care anymore. After everything I've been through, I've realized that, you know, there is there are some things that are just too important to ignore. I know what it's like to feel powerless, and I'm telling you, these billionaires are not going to be there when you need them. They are not going to step in when things go bad. They're going to look the other way. They're going to protect themselves. I have nothing to gain from telling you this. In fact, it's costing me, honestly. There's a lot of other shit I could be doing with my life. And I'm going to get shit from the right for criticizing Trump. I'm going to get shit from the left because a lot of them think you're a lost cause. And you know what? They're probably right. But against my better judgment, I am making this attempt to set you straight. There is a reason the wealthy control the media, the political system, and every cultural narrative. They do it to maintain control. Um, they want you to think your struggle is isolated and you're alone and you're competing with everyone else who's struggling just as much as you are. And they have deliberately crafted this narrative so that you never stop to question them. They want you distracted. They want you to blame the wrong people. And once you see this manipulation for what it is, you can't unsee it. Their entire framework they've built is designed to keep you compliant, keep you divided, and to keep you fighting battles that ultimately benefit them, not you. So, here's my question. Are you going to keep getting fooled? Are you going to keep swallowing the narrative that these wealthy power brokers are on your side? Are you going to start seeing the bigger picture? Because every time you direct your anger at someone who is powerless, you are giving these billionaires exactly what you want, what they want. I'm not saying this to be popular. I'm not saying it because it's good for my career. It isn't. Um, but sometimes you have to stop caring about metrics and start speaking from the heart. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And you know what? You can be a critic of the Democratic Party without falling for a demagogue. You can question liberal ideology without falling for a con man's lies. It's possible. Do you think I blindly support the Democratic Party and everything they say? I don't. You need to stop letting yourself get, you need to stop allowing yourself to be fooled over and over again. Look at who benefits when we're divided, and look at who is accumulating wealth while we're at each other's throats. Think critically, question everything, and don't say I didn't warn you.